Welcome back to the Cave of Wonders, Dreamwalkers. I am your Sith Lord Callous for Lord Callous TV. And this is another rancorous recap and review. As promised, I'm trying to catch myself up. Now today we'll be talking about the Bad Batch episode 6 entitled Decommissioned. Things don't quite go as planned as our Clone Force 99 makes their way to Corellia to steal an old battle droid commander. The group runs into a pair of scoundrels you might recognize from the final season of the Clone Wars. So let's talk about it. Now, I really enjoy how the Bad Batch is incorporating elements from other stories in the universe. We have connections to the Mandalorian, the original trilogy, and of course the Clone Wars. And in this episode, we come face to face with the old tactical droids from the Clone Wars and the Martez sisters from the final season. We're still on Ord Mantell in Cid's bar. Finally, we get to see that Omega is actually practicing to contribute to the team in more ways than by accident or circumstance. She has scavenged the bowcaster from the previous episode and has now made it her choice weapon. Some suspect this validates that Omega theory will permanently replace Crosshair, but I'm not yet convinced. I just think it looks far less brutal to put a bowcaster in a child's hands than it does a blaster, but that's just my opinion. And as she's practicing, Echo attempts to give her pointers while Cid believes she needs to do some push-ups to build up the strength in her arms. Cid briefs the batch on their next mission to retrieve that tactical droid head from Corellia, and the team sets out on their way. When they arrive, they sneak into the droid plant, which is surrounded by police droids, a fact that Cid failed to mention, but the batch find their way inside after Wrecker hesitates for a bit. When the group climbs to the entry point, and once again we get to appreciate how well this series is animated and how stunning the visuals are. It was also nice to see that Omega is finally being considered useful. She's equipped with a wrist communicator and a bowcaster, and there were no instructions for her to wait back at the ship this episode, so we are seeing some progression with her character, though at a snail pace at best. With the value this droid's head must fetch in the sketchy underworld, it's no surprise that the batch encounters another group of smugglers infiltrating the factory. Now, the Martez sisters, Rafa and Trace from Clone Wars Season 7, show up. And while I was not a fan of the Martez sisters' arc in Season 7, I was genuinely pleased to see them here. Again, I appreciate the attempt to connect and weave the universe together. From the comics and novels to the live-action and animated series, it's cohesive, one living and breathing universe. Now we watch as the group splits to try to retrieve the head down on the conveyor belt. Wrecker is forced to take the high ground in the absence of Crosshair, and this is when Trace scoops up the droid head before the batch can get to it first. But Omega is able to intercept Rafa before she can escape, holding her at bow point. Omega struggles to keep the bow drawn, and Rafa uses this to her advantage. She makes a move and Omega blasts a hole in the wall, causing a pressure leak, which sends the plant into lockdown and triggers the police droids to investigate. The rest of the batch chase down Trace, and she tries to escape with the droid head, and a firefight ensues. From here, the action ramps up, with the clones saving the sisters and the sisters saving the clones. The two groups make for an awkward team, but effective to say the least. Meanwhile, Tech is able to get the lockdown lifted, but only after Wrecker manually boosts that power, or reboots the power rather. And to do so, he has to get over what appears to be a new fear of heights. So he throws himself across a wide gap and bashes his head, further damaging his inhibitor chip, or rather making him more susceptible to the effects of that inhibitor chip, as he stutters the same line we hear Crosshair mention in the first 2 episodes, "Good soldiers follow orders." So now the power is back on, and the two teams have to work together to save Omega after she trips and gets herself stuck on the conveyor belt. Once everyone is safe again and on solid ground, Trace and Tech tinker with the tactical droid and use it to command the battle droids to destroy the police droids. The two groups escape, as we expect them to, but the droid head is destroyed in the chaos. Fortunately, Tech managed to copy the contents of that droid's memory before it was destroyed, and rather than hand over the contents to Sid and whoever her contacts are, Hunter delivers it to Rafa, hoping that she will use it for the right reasons, whatever those are. And then at the end, we get a glimpse of the client that the Martez sisters are working for. Sadly, the holo image is obscured, and we can only speculate who this might be. Now that said, I wonder what the next episode will bring for the Bad Batch. And you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you happy to see Omega finally begin to have some training, or did you prefer to keep her more on the side of innocence? And don't forget, if you're new here to the channel, subscribe and hit that like button, then join the Dreamwalkers on our galactic YouTube journey. And I'd like to thank my channel members John Matrix, Rhodes Rants, Biggles, Metz, Callisto, Arcus, and Keaton Haas. Thank you so much for your support. Always remember that peace is a lie. There's only passion. Through passion I gain strength, and through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory, and through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. That is why I do what I love, and I hope you love what I do. This has been another Callous recap and review. Until next time.